Okay, it's one of those solemn jobs, I think, but I'd just like to take a few minutes to acknowledge and honour a special person who passed away late last year. Danyelle Carter was a person I knew well personally and professionally over the last 30 years, and many of you in the room, I'm sure, knew about her because she worked for the EPA for just on 20 years before she passed away. And prior to that for local government, Cogra Council and a few other councils, and has been to this conference every year since 1996, even last year she was here. And many of you didn't know her, but she's touched many of us in our lives. And when I thought about what to say today to honour her, I thought, well, talk about her attributes and lessons we can learn as a group from someone such as Danyelle. So she was very patient. She was an unflappable sort of person, very calm. And when you think of the roles, Tony talking earlier about the EPA and the difficulties the EPA and the regulators face, Danyelle was one of those calm people that did a great job, and she reflected that in the personality. She was a tremendous advocate for regional New South Wales councils. She came up with the idea of subsidising about 10 councils a year to come to this conference. So between us as the organisers and the EPA, we subsidise those people, and they've been able to come at a reduced rate. She strongly supported Indigenous Australians, and she was absolutely passionate about that. She was the reason that we had Indigenous waste in the program over the last 10 or so years. And she's been an absolute advocate in actively visiting Indigenous communities. She was very generous with her time, someone who always made you feel that you're the most important person talking to her. She had a rare quality of she listened more than she spoke, and I think that's something we can all learn from. She followed through with her promises, which I think for those who knew her and reflected the organisation created trust, and people who knew her really trusted her. And that was an important thing, particularly for regional councils. She supported this conference. Tony said earlier that the EPA has been sponsoring this since 1996. Well, she was the person. She was our go-to person, and she made that happen. And finally, of course, she loved a good time. She was always one to dress up. She went to a lot of gigs, and she was always on the dance floor at the conference and the photo booths. Even a few weeks before she died, she was at an event where she was playing up in the photo booth. But look, Danyelle was a special person, and she'll be sorely missed by our industry, and I'm sure by family, friends, and particularly colleagues at the EPA, because I know she was a much-loved person there. Thank you.